feel like he has the best of everyone in him. Is that how you see him? How do you see 9?
That's interesting. I think that Shane, by design, kind of created each character, 1 through 9, with each one as if it's happening chronologically. Mm-hmm. So the scientist creates 1, creates 2, making some amendments mm-hmm. on the design, making it better, 3. So incrementally it's getting better. They all have flaws, but they all have different kinds of attributes. 9 being the last, not necessarily perfect, but maybe more perfected, maybe more refined. Mm-hmm. But I think also 9's innocence and 9's ability to sort of step into the world and not be afraid is that he has no context to be afraid. Mm-hmm. You know, he steps into the world not knowing who he is, what the machines are. He knows not to be afraid. And he quickly learns to be afraid, but he doesn't stop questioning. Mm-hmm. You know, he literally wakes up questioning because he starts to see that there are flaws in their system. They've already created a hierarchy, a sense of community, mm-hmm. and it's ruled by fear, and he's seeing that there are holes in that system.
That's wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. And he makes them question themselves, and ultimately he leads them on the journey of discovery.
I thought it was interesting that 8 is so different than 9, and I want to know what you thought about 8 coming before
leading. Yeah.
Where,
I mean, it probably doesn't happen so. Maybe it doesn't happen so so specifically that each one is better than mm-hmm. the other, in the chronological order of things. Maybe 8 was created with a sense of, well, I'll create something that is truly just brutish mm-hmm. and not necessarily intellectual, and maybe there was a reason for that, because 8 has that attribute going for him. He doesn't have much of a brain.
Yeah. He has a sense of loyalty to 1.
Very much loyal.
That, everyone has their own, 1 and 8 are sort of a pair.
There are alliances.
7 and 9.
Some of my favorite characters, and I haven't even talked about them, but 3 and 4 are amazing.
I love 3 and 4. And I love their book.
Oh, it's so cool. And they're just such an inventive creation. This notion that these 2 were created as catalogers, keepers of history. And,
mm-hmm.
and I love the way that they're constantly flashing their lights
mm-hmm.
and taking in information.
Yeah, when they look at 9 and 7's like, oh, they're cataloging you, and they're flashing
so
and they're looking
cool.
at each other. They're just amazing.
Very clever.
And this is a little different voice work than you've done before. You've done a lot of comedy, like obviously Happy Feet,
mm-hmm.
and then TV stuff like American Dad and Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
How did you approach this that it's a different role than what you've done before with your voice?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's more of a dramatic role in the traditional sense. It has a sort of traditional dramatic arc. The character starts out sort of waking up in this world and goes on a journey that he grows throughout and sort of becomes more assertive and ultimately kind of more heroic, I guess, mm-hmm. over time. So I think just that, understanding the character's arc and who the character is, and also understanding the context of the story. But I love that too. I love the opportunity to work on an animated film that didn't necessarily, that wasn't like other animated films.
It's not necessarily it's not for kids.
Right, and I think that, and certainly the U.S. market in regards to animation is so dominated by family and children animation, and those are all great films, but I think it can be such a wide, it can be such a wide world, I think, animation, and I'd like to see more movies explore different themes.
Fear is the appropriate response.
We awaken something.
Something terrible.
Nine, you shall protect the future.